Hey everyone, it's good to be back out on a walk with all of you again. Word of caution about today's video. I need to put a spoiler alert for Star Trek Picard. So if you care about spoilers and you have not seen the last episode, don't watch this video. If you don't care about spoilers or you're never going to watch the series, go ahead and keep watching this video. That's fine. But if you're one who is really concerned about that sort of thing, please don't watch. I'm going to try my best to leave out as many details as possible. But there's one major spoiler that I can't get around. I will try to make sure that I'm as vague as possible at how we arrive at that particular point, but you should be warned, potentially a major spoiler for the last episode of Star Trek Picard in this video, starting now. You've been warned. So, in the last episode, Picard, Jean-Luc Picard, now Admiral Picard, comes face to face with his old friend, Lieutenant Commander Data. Through various happenings, all this is made possible. I won't go into those details, but he is able to come face to face with Data. And it's the actual Data too, it's not a dream sequence. Something that Data says has really, kind of struck a chord with me and caused me to contemplate, of all things, death. He speaks to Picard, rather, about the meaning of things like friendship and love, the meaning of life, and that being an immortal being like he is, that nothing, that everything in life has much less meaning because he's not able to die. And so he wants to die and ends up asking Picard to help him go through that process. Now, the ethical questions of, somebody, helping you to die and all that, I'm not going to get into that. We know what the church teaches about that. Plus, it doesn't make sense in this particular place because, number one, it's a completely different situation. Data is an immortal being, possibly immortal android, and two, it's a work of fiction. So I'm going to leave the ethics out of it for this video. But the way he talks about death giving meaning to what we do in life, I think can strike a chord. Because we know that everything we do is finite. And perhaps in recent days and recent weeks, these sorts of topics, these sorts of concerns have been on our minds. Death has been more towards the forefront as we face certain challenges in the world. And again, that old saying, I know I've mentioned it in another video, memento mori. Keep death always before your eyes. And I think there's some wisdom to understand that, that this is a finite life, and that finity, not infinity, that finity of life, that finite quality of life does truly give us meaning and purpose and direction. But, and this is the Christian truth, the Christian reality. It's not the death that gives it meaning. The although comes into the fact that after death, we come face to face with our Lord. And it is that same Lord, our Lord Jesus Christ, who in his divine mercy suffered died and was buried and rose again. That moment that changed the entire world, changed our own personal lives. It is through him that we have meaning. Because he took death, something sad, something unconquerable, unavoidable, and turned it into something entirely different. So in one sense, while I would agree with Lieutenant Commander Data that, death can help give us meaning in our lives, that's only part of the question, or only part of the answer, I should say. The other part of that answer is our Lord Jesus Christ and our faith, knowing that after this comes something we can hardly imagine. And so when we come face to face with our Lord, what is our answer going to be? Is it going to be, oh Lord, I allowed fear to get a hold of me. I allowed death to drag me down. You see so many people focus on just the material things of this earth, the finite things that I mentioned earlier. People get so hung up on them because they don't have the meaning that they should. That they've allowed those things to be the only meaningful thing in their lives. But we know as Christians that true meaning comes from an entirely different place. A place of hope, a place of love, and a place of truth. So we can agree with Lieutenant Commander Data, but we can't stop there either. We have to move further. We have to go beyond. And I'll tell you why, because that's exactly what our Lord Jesus Christ did. He didn't stop at death. No, he went far beyond it. He conquered death and was raised again, was rather resurrected, and in all his glory shows us that death is not the end. Death is not the answer. And death is not what gives us meaning, but rather it's our relationship with Jesus Christ and our focus on the life to come. So there we are. Please know of my continuing prayers for you, my friends. Please continue to keep me in prayer. I pray for all of you at the celebration of the Mass. We miss you terribly. We're looking forward to that time when we can have everybody come back, and let us continue to pray for one another, to lift each other up in prayer, and to keep our focus on that sign of hope. The fact that our Lord rose on Easter Sunday, that wonderful moment that changed human history, that moment that we continue to celebrate today. God bless you all, and I look forward to seeing you all soon.